ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا. My respected brothers and sisters, may Allah's peace, His guidance, His mercy, His protection and His forgiveness be with you and with all your loved ones, inshallah, in this life, and the way we depart to the next temporary stage of life, which is the stage of qabr, and then inshallah the day when we will be taken out of our graves and brought back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the accountability. Inshallah, today we will complete the ayah which we started last week. It was about there is no compulsion in religion, and then immediately we will start studying the significance of Ramadan. So, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, all of you are fasting, and when you come to iftar and during your fast, after each and every prayer, please don't forget to pray for us, inshallah, and we will pray for you. So today we will start the program with the ayah which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Quran in this Quran, what this Quran is, and it is the first two ayat of Surah Naml, which is the chapter number 27, ayah number 1 and 2. And where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, Tafsir, tilka ayatul Qur'ani wa kitabim mubin, hudan wa bushra lil mu'minin, sadaqallahu al-azim. Tafsir, these are the ayat of the Quran, and in the book which makes things clear, a guide to the right path and good news for the believers. My respected brothers and sisters, very briefly about this ayah, that we are taught a lot about Iman, what is Iman, and other four rituals. Iman on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then Salah, and then the Zakat and Hajj, and all those things, and Siyam. But we are not taught much, unfortunately, about what else is a good deed. And Islam, of course, these are the pillars of Islam, these 5 pillars of Islam. And then there is the rest of the building of Islam, and that is the Huquq Allah and Huquq al-Ibad. So inshallah, now we move on to the recitation of the ayah 257, then the translation, and then the tafsir of that ayah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياؤهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. The translation of this ayah, my respected brothers and sisters, and that will complete our series from Ayat al-Kursi and the 2 ayat after that. Very important ayat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the protector of those who believe. He brings them out from the darkness into the light. And those who defy and deny, their supporters are taghut. Taghut means all kind of evil, as we discussed, and we'll come back to discuss it more a little bit. And those who deny their supporters are all evil. They take them out from the light into darkness. Those are the dwellers of fire, and they will abide therein forever. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. Abide therein for one reason, that those who know if they have made the mistakes, whatever mistakes they have made, and they come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the same, the same rush and in the same, fastness, and quickly come back to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rapidly and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to repent, they are not, for forgiveness, they are not those who will remain in the fire forever. So we are still, when a person is making a mistake, he still has an opportunity, men or women or nations or groups or cities or whatever, that they can still come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by offering a genuine by heart repentance, and then stay away from repeating the same sin again. So tafsir of this, we are going to take the entire ayah, which is Allah is the protector of those who believe. He brings them out of the darkness into light, and those who disbelieve are those who defy and deny. Their protectors are all evil. They take them from light into darkness. There can only be two things, light or darkness. Those are the dwellers of the fire, and they will abide therein forever. First thing we have to go to is word by word, important words of which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used in this ayah in Quran al-Azim. And first word we come to is wali. What is the meaning of wali? Wali means friend, a protector, a guardian, and a guardian also defends, so he's also a defender. And when people, who is he defending or he is protecting, when they need help, he also helps them. So that is called the wali. The next word in the first portion of the ayah is zulumat. That zulumat means the darkness. It is the darkness, my respected brothers and sisters, and you know better than I do, that it is the darkness of ignorance and arrogance which we choose for ourselves. No friend, no father, no mother, no wife, no children would put you from, they can take you out from nur, and they will be able to put you into the zulumat, in the darkness, if we accept. If we don't accept, then nobody is putting the guns on the temple, on the side of our head, and say, you must do this. So we choose to become arrogant. We choose to become ignorant, and we start following what is wrong. It takes us, the arrogance takes us from the path of salvation. What is the purpose of life? Is to turn out to be a bum at the end of it? Turn out to be someone who is totally lost, and he doesn't know, or she doesn't know what kind of path he or she is in this life? No, that's not the purpose of life. We all know that we are looking for something better at the end. It takes us from the path of salvation. We are using Tafsir as-Suddi at this point. It takes us off the path of salvation and well-being and directs all our energies and efforts in defiance of reality and truth. Allah is the reality, Allah is the truth. And that's when we get into zulumat, when we accept the arrogance and ignorance and sinful things, and we willingly fall into it. Willingly fall into it, and we don't repent and don't stay away from it. The next word would be an-nur. What is the meaning of the word an-nur? An-nur, the common meaning is the light. It is the light of perfect knowledge. What is the light? What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about? Zulumat, the darkness, and then talks about nur. What is the nur? The nur is the knowledge of guidance which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided in all His divine, unadulterated books, which were revealed to the messengers and prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is the light. That is the nur. Just like the light, my respected brothers and sisters, reduces, eliminates, and differentiates between the darkness. Differentiates from the darkness. The light, as soon as, no matter how little the light is, you cannot ignore it. And that light eliminates and differentiates the darkness. And the knowledge and following the guidance which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided in His divine books protects us from the path of darkness and arrogance and ignorance an error. That is the path of error. So when you are driving and there is no light and you have a blindfold on, and even the car or bike or whatever you are driving, it doesn't have any lights. So you are going into a path of error. You can never reach your destination if you don't have the light. And in case of life, that light, my respected brothers and sisters, you know better than I do, that is the light of the guidance which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided in His book. This ayah, my respected brothers and sisters, is very deeply connected with the last ayah which we discussed, which was ayah number 256, and which starts from La ikraha fid din. There is no compulsion in religion. When there is no compulsion in religion, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clearly showed the path of arrogance and path of ignorance and deferred it because of the light of His guidance from the path of salvation. So, La ikraha fid dini qad tabayyana rushdu min al-ghayy. Rushd means the path of light, the path which takes you to your destination and ends up in better rewards, than the path of darkness, which you will be definitely lost, no doubt, will be lost from that path. The other meaning of an-nur is the true knowledge. That is which teaches us the reality, the purpose of life. Pick up any book, any divine book which is free of adulteration or human interference. You will find that the divine knowledge teaches us the reality and the purpose of life and the universe, and consciously does not force us. It doesn't say you must do this. It's up to you, freedom of choice. But Allah is doing His part, showing us the light and showing us the darkness, and leave it up to us whether we want to follow or we don't want to follow. Whether it is about Iman or it is about Salah, whether it is about Siyam or it is about Zakat or it is about Hajj or any matter in life, it is left on freedom of choice. And that's where the accountability would be. Whether you are among those who accepted and found the guidance and accepted it and started following it. Understanding is very important, and after understanding, the most important thing is following. Quran is not a piece of decoration. It is not a book of a story. It is not a story book to put people to sleep. These are not bedtime stories. This is serious matter, and we need to make our efforts to understand Quran. And you can do it. You did. We all did. Volumes and volumes and volumes of diplomas and degrees and PhDs and decorating our walls, but we are dumbfounded about Book of Allah, and we use it as a decoration, piece of decoration. The portion of the ayah where it says Allah is the protector of those who believe, Almighty Allah uses, you have to think about ayat of Allah. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Why they don't logically think about this Quran? Have they placed locks on their heart? Have they placed lock on their heart? Allah did not place lock on anybody's heart, except when He completely refuses to accept the guidance. And He stops realizing the difference between light and the darkness. At that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put on their eyes, on their ears, and a very thick ghashawa which they cannot see across. The portion of this ayah says Almighty Allah uses a singular part. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say awliya. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the term wali, protector. However, in the next portion of the ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that awliya'uhum at-taghut. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using the plural because the guide, the helper, the protector, the provider, the cherisher, the creator, and the one who helps and protects you and guides you can only be one and one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without any partner. That's why where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Wali means one friend, one protector, one cherisher, one provider, one creator, one helper, one defender. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when He talks about taghut, He uses the plural. Awliya'uhum at-taghut. Yukhrijunahum. You see, it's all plural, all the way. And that means that, and then whoever disbelieves, their protectors are all evil. it implies that by turning away from one Allah, just think about this. The logic which Quran is teaching us is to understand that if you turn away from one Allah, then you have accepted the tyranny of all evils. You have to stay away. You want to stay away from all evils and the tyranny of Taghut and control of Taghut and control of evil over your deeds and over your thoughts. You have to go. You have to follow that. You have to find and follow and understand and practice the light. Not only memorize it and don't understand what you memorize. The biggest one of the Taghut, of course, is our best friend, Mr. Iblis, Shaitan, the Satan, who shows and also sows temptation, and he allures the entire humankind and puts so much alluring things in front of you that you feel attracted towards it and you blindly go and start following it. That is the head of our best friend, Mr. Iblis. That is his duty, that is his job, that is the job which he has taken over until the day of judgment, and that's where our imtihan is, that's where we will be tested. Another potential evil is man's own inner self, my nafs, what is inside me, which seeks to subjugate me to my appetite and my desires and start doing things which I like instead of start doing things which Allah said I must do. I take command over that. What if you are sitting in a car on a driver's seat, whether it is without a driverless car or it is what you have programmed, or you are sitting on a driver's seat? If the car starts going its own way, is that car not going to destroy something or damage itself? Definitely it will. So the guidance is needed, the program is needed in there, and that's the program which Allah put in you and me. That is the program which Allah put in you and me and all entire humanity. Nobody was born evil except not even Shaitan, until he defied Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah told him to get out of here. Madluma madhura, that you will be, until the day of judgment, you will be denied of any goodness in you, because he defied Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other potential evil which we were talking about is my own inner self, which subjugates me to my appetites and desires and stops me from seeing the right from wrong. And I only see what is in front of me and which allures me, which tastes good, it has good color, or it has good makeup or good clothes on. This must be good for me. We may face many of those evils. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has talked about awliya, the plural of wali. The plural of wali. Why they are plural of wali? Because in their own places, in their own individuality, they are not strong enough to be a wali. They can only strong enough to be an evil. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about we may face, it says that, and the scholar says that, now it is on Tafsir Al-Qur'an, it says that we may face many of those evil. And those evil are such as alcohol, such as contrabands, the drugs, the husband, the wife, the children, one or both parents, in-laws or outlaws, relatives, friends and family and acquaintances, the community which we choose to be with in our educational institution, the social, the political, the religious leaders, whom we give money without consideration of what they are going to do with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the balance which Allah create, and they would destroy it. So these are some of the faces of evil. Some of the faces of evil that we just go out and eat because it tastes good without thinking that what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, don't do it. The Taghut evil wants us to listen and follow them blindly. All these things I noticed, I mentioned earlier. The husband, the wife, the one or both parents, children, your friends, the society, your school, your political, your religious leader, they all want you to listen to them and follow them blindly. You cannot say no to them, and you just fall into their trap. On the other side, here is the most merciful all of us are going to face, and he is telling us that you have a freedom of choice. You want your own benefit, you want benefit for your own good? Come to me. You don't want it? Don't come to me. Allahu Akbar. What is it? You won't find a giver like Allah anywhere, because there is none. Then this is what Almighty Allah tells us. The Taghut evil wants us to follow them blindly. Don't use your brain. I'm telling you what to do. When we lose that kind of control over ourselves and our inner self and outer self, we fall into ways of lost. Mostly right from wrong is our choice. If we follow and apply the knowledge we are given by the best of the true, best of the people Allah ever put on this planet or any planet, we make wise decisions and refuse the evil desire and temptations. This ayah teaches us that if we follow Allah's guidance, Allahu waliyul ladina amanu yukhrijuhum min adh-dhulumati ila an-nur. You want to come out from the darkness of evil, and you want to come out to the light, the bright path, the path of success. Then you will find that Allah is your best friend. Allah is the only protector, the guardian, the loving and caring friend. And He guides those who come to Him. My respected brothers and sisters, everything which we have, from the day our mothers conceived, the day our ruh was created in the barzakh, from that day till we die and we remain in our grave and the day we will be taken out, everything given to us is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hidayah is one thing. Guidance is one thing which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not give to everybody. He only gives guidance to those who beg for guidance. Those who say, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. He is proud of what he is. We need to reach out to him. We need to ask him, oh Allah, guide me. Oh Allah, show me the straight path. And then he shows the straight path, and he says that go back to the book which I sent to my messengers, and you will be on the straight path. He does not give hidayah without asking for it. Without asking for it. So ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide you, and at the same time, please ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive my sins. My bad book is being carried by a forklift. It's so heavy. So please don't forget me in your prayers. This ayah tells us that Allah takes out from the darkness of disbelief, doubt and hesitation to the nur of plain and clear and unambiguous truth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has stated that shaitan and other evil are the supporters of the deniers. Shaitan and all other evils in different relationships and different shape and form. They are the supporters of the deniers, those who beautify the path of ignorance and arrogance. People will tell you, if you ask him, why do you eat this? Or why do you drink it? Or why do you smoke this? Because I like it. It's not about your liking. It's not about your liking. You wouldn't like that somebody just come through the window in your house and start living there. This is what we are doing when we break Allah's law in Allah's domain, that we come through the window and we start living in Allah's house without paying anything back to him or even recognizing him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that shaitan and other evil are the supporters and deniers who beautify the paths of ignorance and misguidance, making people deviate from the true path into disbelief and wickedness willingly. Allahu Akbar. How does shaitan work on people? That you know that this is not a good path. When you are in your own mind, when you come back to yourself, then you know that this is not the good path. But then you still go into it. because they have shown that this is the person, this is the friend, this is the girl, this is the woman, this is the man, this is the boy, which you think is a good person, or you like one of his habits and you start following it. While there is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you that this is the guiding light. This is the guiding light. And what kind of ship captains we are, that we always run our ship in the ground. May Allah have mercy on us. Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful and most just. The reward for those who follow the guidance, who follow. Inna Allah la yudi'u ajrum man ahsanu amala. That your reward, if you are doing a good deed, would never be wasted. But at the same time, those who walk away from the path of a straight path of guidance of Allah and do not follow the message which He sent with the best of His representatives, they cannot walk away from the consequences of wrongful acts. Hatta yaliju al-jamalu fi sammi al-khiyat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a parable that they cannot walk away from it. They cannot walk away from it until a camel can go through the eye of a needle. A camel can't go through the eye of a needle. The person who is being knowingly, deliberately defying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot walk away from the consequences of his acts, here or in grave or on day of judgment. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us. And similarly, I'll end this chapter, this discussion of there is no compulsion in religion, and go to inshallah the significance of Ramadan by quoting one ayah from Surah Al-An'am, which is the 6th surah, ayah number 153, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ فَتَفَرَّقَ بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ ذَلِكُمْ وَصَّاكُمْ بِهِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. And verily, this following of my order is my straight path. إِنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ. That this is my straight path. How more clearly, unambiguously can anybody give us an order to follow? That this, and verily, undoubtedly, following my orders is my straight path. So follow it. And do not follow other paths of evil, so they will separate you from this path, from Allah's path. This is He has ordered and ordained for you, so you may refrain from deliberate disobedience of the one who you owe all respect to. So now we will come to, inshallah, my respected brothers and sisters, we come to about significance of Ramadan. And during the month of Ramadan, inshallah, we will continue this topic, significance of Ramadan, and then we will also discuss the Zakat al-Fitr. We are told so many different wrong things, even from pulpits, about Zakat al-Fitr, when to pay and all that. So we will discuss that, because Allah will ask us that somebody told you, who were facing you and telling you, okay, Zakat al-Fitr should be paid only before the Eid prayer. Okay? No. Allah would ask us that was not the only thing you had to do. So, what is Zakat al-Fitr? We'll talk about it, inshallah, and when it should be paid, and why we are paying Zakat al-Fitr. In ayah number 183, my respected brothers and sisters, that's where the topic of Ramadan is started in Quran, and it says, بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. This was ayah number 183, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first time in second chapter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned fasting, the siyam. Allah the Almighty in this says kutiba alaykum, means it is prescribed. So the translation is, O you who believe, fasting is prescribed, made mandatory for you as it was made mandatory for those who were before you. And the purpose of fasting, making it mandatory, was so you become righteous. So you learn to deliberately, to refrain from deliberate disobedience, obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, the word kutiba alaykum is prescribed to you, has been mentioned in Quran many times. In one of the ayat, 5 ayat before this, ayah number 178, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, kutiba alaykum al-qisasu fil qatla. That in case of equal retribution and retaliation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, in case of murder, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put this retribution, equal retribution law, means it has been made compulsory. The second time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used that is in ayah number 180, again in second chapter, the same chapter we are in, ayah number 180, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, kutiba alaykum iza hadara ahadakumul mautu in taraka khayral wasiyah. That making a will is being made mandatory. So this is not the first time Allah is using kutiba alaykum siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Islam is based on 5 pillars. The testimony that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is His messenger. Number 2 is establishing prayers. Number 3 is paying zakat. Number 4 is fasting Ramadan. And number 5 is performing Hajj. Without these acts, a person has no deen. Without these acts, a person has no deen. But we should know that fasting, Hajj and zakat depends upon some other factor. When it becomes compulsory upon you and it is an obligation for you to do it. The fasting is not an obligation for all people. There are conditions, we will talk about it inshallah. Hajj is not, people are not obligated to perform Hajj. If they can't pay zakat, they are not obligated to pay zakat. But there is no, your health or your money or your wealth or number of houses or cars, your iman should not depend on that. So, iman and salah, these are the 2 fundamental elements which are associated with the next 3, and then there are other acts we will talk about inshallah. The Arabic word, my respected brothers and sisters, as-siyam. Kutiba alaykum as-siyamu. So siyam means refraining from something and not violating its injunction or prohibitions. Fasting of Ramadan is not only about refraining from food and drink during certain time, but also avoiding all prohibited things and acts. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in one of the hadith has said that if someone does not abandon lying, cheating, false talks, and false actions and deeds, Allah is not in need of him to abandon food and drink. If he continues to do or she continues to do that, it's better for that person to go eat. Don't fast. It's for you, it's not for Allah. So the other acts of worship are outward for a person, but fasting is both inward and outward. It builds a personality in a person and teaching us how to practice lessons of Ramadan in the next 11 months. It's not that you have to have a moon sighting night and then people just show up there and they just enjoy like they just came out of a prison. And enjoying that, oh, alhamdulillah, Ramadan is done, finished. Now I'm free. Free for what? Free to do everything I used to do. No, Ramadan, you have to come out of Ramadan better than you were going into Ramadan. This is a season, this is a continuous education opportunity. It's an annual refresher course which teaches us the lesson which we forget and start taking life. No, we rush to go back to what we were, to go back to our routine and maintain this status quo, mashallah. The reward of fasting. Fasting is mandatory in all divine religions, my respected brothers and sisters. This is the month or days of tremendous social, spiritual, and health benefit. This word tremendous, I shouldn't be using because there is a very famous personality, use it in every second thing he does. It's tremendous. It is an annual refresher course and a continuous education opportunity. It reminds us what we need to do all year long, not only for those 29 or 30 days. And we become Muslim like we are Muslim on a day of Friday and go for Friday prayer and don't pray Asr after that. The major spiritual and social benefits of Ramadan. This is what we should know, my respected brothers and sisters. And Tafsir Al-Qur'an says it is the month of moral and spiritual training. Like a soldier is trained. It teaches us the importance of following the orders. Following the orders in those 29 or 30 days should become our habit of following orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in rest of the 330 some days. It improves our moral and spiritual character of self-resistant. What is self-restraint? That we are hungry and you have food in front of you. And you, in some cases, our sisters, they are even cooking food in front, they are in front of the of the food, they are cooking food, but they are fasting and they're holding up on themselves, that they shouldn't even taste the food to see that how much sugar or how much salt or how much spices were in there. Denying, we all supposed to deny temptations. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, in the West, a huge number of liquor stores and lotto shops, those who are selling lotto and liquor stores are owned by our Muslim brothers. Muslim brothers. During Ramadan, the shop is open. And we're selling lotto tickets and we're selling, and nobody dare telling them because they give so much money to the masjid. If you tell them that this is wrong, then they may not give money in fundraising to the masjid. So there is political reasons to not to correct someone who is not on path of Allah. So it improves moral and spiritual characters of self-restraint, denying temptation, refraining from deliberate disobedience, and practicing defiance of Allah. The feeling of hunger and thirst make us realize our own weakness. How weak am I that now I don't have water? My throat is dry and I'm not taking water. And I used to think I'm so strong. Now I am hungry. I have to get up and do certain things. 14, 15. Did we forget the time when Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam during Ramadan used to come home and ask his wife, is there anything to eat for suhoor? Or is there anything to eat for iftar? And they said no. So he would take water, and take a sip from the water and he goes to the prayers. And we have our table, sufra, from one end to the other. And Adhan of Maghrib has come. These iftar parties continue and very few people will go to pray. Until they are completely full. The prayer time has come and gone. And then again, the attack starts on the dining table where the food was. Like we are living for food. We are supposed to eat to live. We are living to eat. And that's why there are other problems. The feeling of hunger and thirst make us realize our own weaknesses. The abstaining from food and water and waiting for an iftar teaches us another great lesson. And the lesson of waiting for iftar time and eat at that time, the lesson is that if you are considering this hardship, hunger and thirst, now there will be iftar. You waiting for the time when the hardship will end and reward would begin. So every hardship, my respected brothers and sisters, no hardship is continuous. The hardship ends. So we have to practice patience and perseverance and wait for the iftar. This is another lesson of Ramadan for us. It increases our endurance, our adaptability, and change our daily routine. It teaches us that if we can control hunger and thirst, we can also control other urges. What is hunger? It's an urge. Your body needs something. Feed me, feed me, feed me. I'm thirsty. Give me some water. Let me drink the water. Let me drink cola. Let me drink juices. And we are staying away from it. So it is preparing us, our adaptability, our endurance, and it's teaching us that yes, you have to control your hunger, and you are controlling your thirst exactly the same way you can control your other urges which are not right. Refraining from even permissible things. You see, water, food which you like, these are permissible things in Ramadan, out of Ramadan. 11 months, these are permissible things. You can drink water, you can drink cola, you can drink juices. You love a fruit, you prefer a fruit over the other, you can eat that fruit, you can eat any kind of food which you want, which is halal during other 11 months, but during Ramadan, in other 11 months, during Ramadan, even from certain hours, from this time to that time, your halal thing is being made haram for you if you do it without a reason. That you are sick or too old, or you are sick to a thing that if you don't take your medicine in time, then you may, it may hurt, or it may make your disease or whatever illness you have, it will make it worse. In that case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed us this facility, that because of His mercy and forgiveness and His benevolence, that He wants us to, okay, if you can't do it, don't do it. Don't hurt yourself. But the lesson there is that to refrain from permissible thing, reminding you that other 11 months you can eat it, but now you can't. So learn that those things, those who are prohibited in round the clock, all 24 hours, all 12 months, all days and nights of your life, if they are prohibited, you should avoid those things as you are avoiding a drop of water and a morsel of grain during this time to that time, from suhoor to iftar. It is a training. It is a continuous education opportunity. It is a refresher course reminding you that you can do it. Don't take it so hard on yourself. Unless you have an excuse. Creates an environment of discipline. What is the discipline of Ramadan? There is a Ramadan timing table. Well, mashallah, a masjid which may be 500 meters from another masjid have a totally different time. But this is between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't want to go into those, hair splitting or pointing fingers at people. The discipline is that with the difference of whatever time the people have among themselves, with the school of thoughts or whatever reason they may have, it is teaching us that if it reaches at such and such time with a give and take of few minutes, you must stop eating. And same thing, if it reaches to that time, you should go to eat. You must not delay. You must not delay. If you have something in your mouth and you heard, or you reach the time when the time is over and you must stop, you are allowed to swallow it, to eat it. As you are eating it, you are allowed to eat it and then drink water. Not go in the living room and say, Allah allowed me, give me a cup of coffee also, Turkish coffee. That is defiance. But if you already have it in your mouth, are you eating it close to your mouth? Finish it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful. It teaches you a discipline that you must stop eating. And then again, it brings you to discipline that you must start eating at such and such time and don't delay. It's teaching us discipline. Then it's teaching us that you should wake up early. Because what do you do after suhoor? You have to pray fajr. What do you do in other days? Continue to sleep. So it is bringing you to discipline to pray your fajr prayer. It is telling you that look, if you are fasting, so is your wife. Help her in preparing food. Do not overburden people in your household. Your son, your daughter, your wife, your husband, your other people, those who are living under the same roof. Then have your suhoor together and your iftar together. People, my respected brothers and sisters, a family that eats together, starts fast together and breaks fast together, and prays together, it stays together. It stays together. It reminds us, you see, we are running for Ramadan to seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness. That we are staying hungry and thirsty and all that. But, so He will forgive us. But we, ourselves, don't want to forgive people. We don't want to forgive the husband. We don't want to forgive the wife. We don't want to forgive our children. Children don't want to forgive the parents. Yes, parents do wrong things. If they did something wrong, children should forgive. But parents also forgive the children and protect them. It reminds us that how dependent, not having food and not having water, how dependent we are on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we did not have that food or water for another hour, we'll go nuts. The companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to participate in ghazwat, and they were fasting. And as a matter of fact, in Ghazwat Khandaq, the battle of trenches, somebody came to Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam and told him that they were digging trenches to fight the enemies of Islam, the people of Mecca. They were in Medina, and they were digging trenches so they would fight this war which is being imposed upon themselves. They were forced to fight. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not like to fight. He removed himself. Allah removed him from Mecca, from his birthplace, and put him in Medina. And they continued to bother him. So a time came when they were going to fight. So they were digging trenches. And one of the companions came to Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam and lifted his shirt and said, Ya Rasulullah, is there anything to eat? Look, I have a rock, a stone tied up with a rope, so my stomach would not feel hungry. Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam lifted his shirt. He has 2 stones tied to his stomach. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ was hungry, fasted, was hungry, but ready to face the enemy. We will lose, maybe we will just give up Islam. The 2 hours after iftar, I didn't have anything to eat. I don't need astaghfirullah, na'udhu. I don't need a religion of hunger and thirst. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولُ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ, that there are wonderful, beautiful examples in the manners and attitude and deeds of Muhammad al-Mustafa for you, if you love Allah and you are willing to, if you are looking forward for rewards on the day of judgment, where there will be no shade other than the shade of the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa ayadu billah, that we are where we are and where were they. Ramadan connects us with Quran by listening. You go to our Tarawih prayer, listening. The guy who is reciting, the guy who is reciting Quran doesn't know what he's saying. And then our problem is with Jews and Christians. It's a conspiracy to destroy Muslims. With people like me, do we really need enemies? From outside, we already have enemies right within us with people like me. Quran, Ramadan connects us with Quran by listening to it, by reciting it, and by discussing it. What you read, if you understood what you read, your heart would shake, or your heart would be so happy that you would hold your wife's or your husband's hand and your children's hand and say, sit down here, let me tell you what I just read. And give them good tidings, glad tidings, that you will be rewarded. You are staying in front of one who there is nobody in love with you more than him. The month of Quran, Ramadan is month of Quran. Those ayat will come and we will talk about it. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم. So we will talk about it. Quran, this month of Quran is the month of giving and sharing food, clothing, helping the destitute of the community, locally and internationally. This is not the month for iftar parties and invite those who can feed you and 10 like you. And we are proud of it. Invite people to our houses, or we rent places and do iftar parties there, but we don't feed. Or if we feed, we will give the leftovers. That is neat, that is supposed to be, that is about to be thrown in the garbage can. We have it for the poor of our community. And we will celebrate Eid after that. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, thumma astaghfirullah. The month of Quran is month of giving and sharing food. It challenges us to think. It challenges us. And like I was talking to my son about this the other day on iftar, that it challenges us to design the design and the plan and the power and knowledge and majesty of Almighty Allah, that there is no machine which is created in front of you, no machine in front of you which is made, any product. It is made for 110 and you connect it on 220, it's still working. Or you have a car or another machine, a generator, for example, and you can mix 5, 10, 20 different kind of fuel and put it in there and it continues to work. But then look at your body. This is the lesson of Ramadan, reminding you time and again that I am there, come to me. Look at your body. In your stomach, you start from date to tea to Turkish coffee to Turkish tea and this and mahallabiya and this and that and durums and this. We eat whatever we want to eat. Chicken, we eat meat, we eat sweet, we eat rice, we eat bread, we drink tea, we drink coffee. All goes in the same stomach and your body is working. Try it with your car. Mix 5 fuels and see how far you go. This is Allah's plan. This is the most merciful, most powerful, most magnificent, the mightiest designer, mightiest majesty, the mightiest power. That's His plan. Ramadan teaches us that. And every day it teaches us how Allah performs and how your body performs at optimum. You don't have Coca-Cola. Suppose if you love it, you can take another drink. Drink that. You don't have water, you can sip tea. And your machine is still working. You don't break down, your engine does not seize. And you can't do that with all those mixed fuels and liquids, except the most perfect creation, us, humankind, that we can eat 20 different dishes, or one dish, and body is still ticking and you're still going. And that is the meaning. These 12 things which I discussed, my respected brothers and sisters, that these are the things that we need to know, and we will go into detail inshallah next week also. And that is the meaning of the sum of the portion of this ayah, except the last one. It says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, kutiba alaykumus siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. Then at the end it says what? لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Those 2 words, my respected brothers and sisters, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, the purpose of Ramadan is explained in these last 2 words. Ramadan is a mercy of Allah. Ramadan is a mercy of Allah. That He is putting you through this. Kutiba alaykum, made it compulsory for you. For what? لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So you may become righteous. So you may stop deliberately disobeying. So you may refrain from deliberate disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the purpose of Ramadan. We wait and we just run and eat. And then prayer time comes and gone and we are eating. And then we lay down on the carpet. Now we have overeaten. But we are asking, what is for suhoor? Life is about live to eat, not eat to live. Unfortunately, in our communities, my respected brothers and sisters, and this must be said, like it or not. I get a lot of phone calls and few more come today, and that's okay with me. Unfortunately, in our communities, the rich don't even know how much they have. And the poor have nothing but struggles of life, rights, human rights, and recognition that they are even human. In Muslim countries and also here in Europe and here in America, the poor have Ramadan all their lives. There are students in this city, the only meal they get was the school meal program, and now the schools are closed. Where are we? Why not we going to the Jews and Christians and non-Muslims and delivering them food? And there are organizations, those who are doing it, and may Allah accept it and reward them. But where are majority of us who complain about what's happening to us? We're too hungry today. Poors always have Ramadan, my respected brothers and sisters. Little or no food, lack of clean water. Remember Flint, Michigan. Lack of clean water, sewage, lack of electricity, lack of security, joblessness, homelessness, lack of health care. The poor are invaluable and dishonored by the rich and by those who are enjoying iftar parties in the name of Islam and celebrating Eid moon sighting party, Chandrat. They're going out to see the moon like they have done a favor to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now they deserve to celebrate. We don't know whether we will be alive tomorrow. But the invitation of Eid celebrations and iftar parties are already planned and sent. Whether it was COVID-19, coronavirus, novel coronavirus, or COVID-19,000, iftar parties are still continuing in a lot of people's houses. And this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put a thick curtain on their hearing, on their thinking in front of their eyes, and they would never turn around. No matter how many Ramadan you go through, if you don't see what poor are suffering and homeless are suffering and people, those who don't have means, what Ramadan? I'm telling you, COVID-19 or COVID-19,000, Eid parties will continue, iftar parties will continue, and we will stand there with boxes and doing fundraising. Ramadan reminds us that we need to treat the diseases of our heart. That fi qulubihim, Quran talks about it. Fi qulubihim maradun fazadahumullahu marada. That diseases, our hearts are diseased. Ramadan takes care of the diseases of the heart. Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullah alayhi said that Ramadan cures the rusting of the heart caused by two bad habits. And listen to these bad habits. We still have 3 minutes. Number 1 is total heedlessness in religious matter. We don't know. We will listen to Tarawih or we will recite. The Imam would recite Tarawih, doesn't know what he's saying. This is total heedlessness of religious matters. And number 2, which creates the disease of the heart, is excessive sinning. It is excessive sinning. The Quran is among us and we don't understand it, but we read it. But we read it, but we don't understand it. An accepted fast, my respected brothers and sisters, removes that rust from the heart by doing 2 things. This is Imam Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullah alayhi saying that an accepted fast removes the rust from our heart by doing 2 things. Number 1, continuously seeking forgiveness. Rabbi aghfir li warhamni. Rabbi aghfir li warhamni. Astaghfirullah. Keep seeking forgiveness and continue to avoid sins, whether you are in Ramadan or you are out of Ramadan. Avoid sins, avoid things which Allah said don't do. Second thing which can change it is continuous remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. and reaching out to the family and community. If you continue to reach to Allah and you forget about your family and you forget about your community, there is a defect. There is a sickness in heart. You think only pleasing Allah. No, pleasing Allah, those who pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are all also good with people, those who are around them. And people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, put their love and honor in other people's heart, and people say he's a good man. Paying zakat al-fitr, this is a weak point. Because you will hear that, pay zakat al-fitr and then you should. No. And then some of the masajid I have seen that people are told that the one who has not prayed Salat al-Fajr, then before Salat al-Eid you should pray Salat al-Fajr. Well, that's a good thing. Salat al-Fajr, my respected brothers and sisters, is a fard ayn. You must pray Fajr. Salat al-Eid is fard kifaya. That one person in the family, if he prays, if he goes for Eid al-Fitr prayers, it is like he has prayed from the rest of the people also. It's not fard. It's fard kifaya. Salat al-Fajr. And then you would see half of the masjid will stand up and pray Salat al-Fajr at 7:30 in the morning. Allahu Akbar. Zakat al-Fitr must be paid even for the fetus, the child who has not been born. Is an excellent way to help the needy. But when to pay Zakat al-Fitr? Our Imam would tell you, majority of the Imams, there are some good ones in this city and in the world, of course. Ummat Muhammad, there are a lot of great scholars out there, those who teach nothing but the right. Zakat al-Fitr can be paid any time. When after Ramadan, when the Ramadan is started, the purpose of Zakat al-Fitr is not that the Imam Sahab can get a 10% commission from it, or masjid can have new air conditioning unit. That's not the purpose of Zakat al-Fitr. Zakat al-Fitr is that those who cannot have good meals for suhoor and iftar, and they cannot celebrate, and their children cannot wear a little bit better clothing before Eid, so you pay before so they can afford, and the money have to be distributed to them. I know instances where the Zakat al-Fitr money for last year is still accepting application. Masjid is accepting application. Why? Because they don't know who is deserving. The driver is sleeping on the steering, and the train is going with the speed of light, and we are going to get a head-on collision. Head-on collision. Allah will cause us to collide before we, if you don't wake up. Paying Zakat al-Fitr as soon as possible, even for a fetus, is an excellent way to help the needy with food items so they can fast, they can enjoy the good suhoor. You enjoy whole year. You order more meat, more steak, chicken tikkas, this and that. And in Turkey we have different kind of meals. And we are all preparing for that. What about the one who in suhoor and iftar doesn't have a good meal? And his children are her children. There are widows, there are orphans, there are divorced women, there are men, those who have no means to sustain. And they're sitting there and waiting. And wallahi, no matter how much you fast, no matter how much you perform Hajj, Day of Judgment, Allah will ask you that why you did not know that your neighbor was hungry. And He would not say that neighbor was supposed to be a Muslim, and not only Muslim but also a Sunni Muslim, or a Shia Muslim, or a Deobandi Muslim, or the green turban, or black turban, or brown turban. 72 different facts. We playing monopoly with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We shouldn't be coming out of the prison of the monopoly. The food items and fasting and clothing for them, for joining also the Eid festivities. If you pay Zakat al-Fitr on day of Eid, when did you give money to those who were deserving? Eid is already on your head and you are standing there for prayer. And Imam is saying you must pay before. Before means before, not before that day's prayer. So, I will end by just mentioning one ayah, which is Surah Al-An'am, 6th chapter, ayah number 54. Because this is Ramadan, I would say what I said without apologizing. I don't want to apologize. There's no need for no apology for this. This is true, it has to be said. Quran tells us, O Muhammad, when those who believe in our ayat, means in our Quran, come to you, those who come to you, means coming to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet and want to do what Prophet used to do and want to do what Allah has said them to do, tell them, peace be on you. فَقُلْ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ كَتَبَ رَبُّكُمْ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ الرَّحْمَةِ. Peace be on you, your Lord has written mercy for himself. كَتَبَ رَبُّكُمْ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ الرَّحْمَةِ أَنَّهُ مَنْ عَمِلَ مِنْكُمْ سُوءًا بِجَهَالَةٍ ثُمَّ تَابَ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ وَأَصْلَحَ فَإِنَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. O Muhammad, then those who believe in our ayat come to you, say to them, peace be on you, your Lord has written mercy for himself. So if any one of you does evil, does something wrong, in ignorance, and thereafter he repents and does the righteous good deeds, then surely Allah is oft forgiving and most merciful. أقول قولي هذا واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب القبر وقنا عذاب الحشر وقنا عذاب جهنم وادخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نسألك إيمانا كاملا ويقينا صادقا ورزقا واسعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا وحلالا طيبا وتوبة نصوحا وتوبة قبل الموت وراحة عند الموت والعفو والمغفرة عند الحساب والفوز بالجنة والنجاة من النار برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. والفاتحة. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Thank you for joining us. Inshallah, next week the topic will continue. Significance of Ramadan. Please remember us in your dua. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.